Greetings and welcome back to Wax and Relax Vinyl Listening Room. My name's John, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and your family. And I thought I'd come to you just a little bit before Christmas and share some of the holiday records that are near and dear to my heart and to my family's heart. So I figured go through a six-pack with you. Alrighty. Holiday cheer, little Buffalo Trace. And we'll start with the Big Daddy. Charlie Brown Christmas. Vince Guaraldi Trio. This is from 1965. Introduced 2 or 3 or maybe 4 generations by this point about jazz. That's how we found out about it. We heard the piano trio and just blossomed from there. That green see-through vinyl. This is the only Christmas album I have so far that is a recent reissue. So this is a new purchase for this season. Fantasy Records brought to you a good bit of jazz and I believe some CCR records. Everything on here from the TV show. Only one vocal, and that's Christmas Time Is Here with the kids singing. Everything on here is awesome. It's home. You listen to this and everything's right in the world. This, I'm the youngest of 8 kids, and we grew up in the 70s. And so this was the record of our family. And to this day, it is not Christmas season until this comes out. This is the Sal Soul Orchestra Christmas Jollies Disco Christmas album. I know that sounds corny, a little cheesy. It's the real deal. It's real musicians. It's not electronic. It is a full-on orchestra playing that 4-on-the-4 disco stuff. Yeah, man, came out in 1976. I was 7 years old, and just every year it is the shit. This is what puts me in the Christmas spirit. No freaking doubt about it. Little risque album cover there. And you'll see that her t-shirt says Dance to Sal Soul. Sal Soul was also the label. On the records that aren't the Christmas album, which are family friendly, that t-shirt says Dance Your Ass Off to Sal Soul. But this is awesome. As a DJ, I use the New Year's medley as my countdown every year. My favorite Christmas song of all time on side 1, Merry Christmas All. Awesome. Favorite record. 1976. Unfortunately, they tried it again. Christmas Jollies Part 2. Did it in 1981. At that point, discos shipped have really sailed. They had different people in the band. It just didn't seem quite as genuine as the first one. Not that you're thinking, yeah, John, it's a disco Christmas record. How genuine can it be? I know. More often than not, can't capture lightning in a bottle twice. This one, between my wife and my children, and my wife and her family, growing up, this is as much as this I brought to my family. My wife brings this. This is Willie Colon and Hector Lavoe. Asalto Navideño. This is from 1970. Our pressing is actually from 1972. It's on Fania Records. The longer I'm married to my wife, we're 25 years or so at this point. The longer I'm married to her, the more and more interested I am in Latin music. And the honeypot for me is that 60s and 70s stuff. So, you know, I got into Ray Barretto and, you know, some of his Congo records. And, yeah, all that stuff on Fania Records I really like. So I'm kind of going down that rabbit hole lately. But this, again, once we play that Sal Soul record, this comes on right after it. And it's, you know, it's the perfect spot where that Irish family and that Puerto Rican family mix. On this record, they brought in Yomo Toro to play the cuatro, and that makes this squarely a Puerto Rican record, no doubt about it. So if you haven't ever heard this, give it a listen. It's fun, good Christmas stuff. And I don't know, for my wife and for all my in-laws, it just it sets that tone of happiness and pernil and the coquito and all that stuff, and staying up late on Christmas Eve. Great stuff. Love it. All right. On that record, there's that cuatro that's being played by Yomo Toro. That is a double-coursed instrument that sort of sounds maybe like a mandolin, or maybe more like a mandola, because it's a little deeper in pitch. And that appeals to me greatly because I play a little bit of bluegrass mandolin. And because of that, one of my favorite Christmas records. David Grisman, Acoustic Christmas, 1983. I read a review of this somewhere that says it's a shame that this only gets played for about a month a year, because this is the music on this is great enough to be played all year long. And I agree with that. Grisman, a lot of people know about him because he was in he played on some early Grateful Dead stuff. He was in Old and in the Way with Jerry Garcia. He's developed his own style of music called dog music. He plays klezmer style of music, all sorts of crazy stuff. But the bluegrass stuff is really in his wheelhouse because he plays a bluegrass instrument. Really fantastic record. This isn't. I mean, it's Christmas songs, but just great music that it could very easily be. You could listen to this in February and still get off on it. This one, we're going to go back to a classic here, 1958. Merry Christmas, Johnny Mathis. Just a classic because you've heard so many of these songs, in shopping stores and on the radio and wherever you hear your Christmas music, just since the dawn of history, or since 1958 in this case. For me, I grew up skiing, and so I always loved the album cover. Even though it was the older equipment from the 50s and 60s, it's still just an awesome picture. He's standing there in the snow, holding the skis. They're big downhill boards because they're about 2 feet longer than him. He's got the old lace-up boots, no gloves, which tells me that this picture was taken in a studio. But this particular copy that I have is kind of beat to hell. It was given to me by somebody, and I think it was in that batch of records that we had a garage sale, and somebody actually brought records to us, and so I ended up having a garage sale and ended up with more records than I started with. But this one, someone did some sort of math on here, so there's like some equations and trying to figure out money. So at some point between 1958 and 2024, somebody used this for scratch paper for homework. But it's mine, it's got a story, and I love it. How about this one? This one came in that same batch. This is the original soundtrack record from 1964's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This is actually the audio pulled from the special. So you got Burl Ives all over here. You've got all the songs, that We Are Santa's Elves, and There's Always Tomorrow, sung by Rudolph's mother. Good stuff. Side 1 is all the songs from the show, and then side 2 is just all instrumental versions of that. So I don't know that anyone's ever played side 2 of this record, but definitely worth having, especially if you're a child of the 60s and 70s like I am. A couple of them that are on the want list for next season. I got to get a hold of the Nat King Cole Christmas Song LP. He had one that The Magic of Christmas came out in 1960. It's hard to track down when this record came out. Was it 62? Was it 67? Some places have it coming out in 76. A couple different variations of what it was, but you got to get it because there's also such great stuff on there. And just again, you could listen to Nat King Cole sing all year round about chestnuts roasting on an open fire, and it just all feels like home. Also, Andy Williams' Christmas album, 1963. That's got to be in the collection for next year. I love the Andy Williams songs that you hear all the time, as the season approaches. But I was kicking around on YouTube the other day, and somebody posted the Andy Williams Christmas special from 1966, and I watched it. Sitting there by myself, watching Andy Williams Christmas, waiting for my wife and kids to get home from wherever they were, and I'm glued to it, totally nostalgic, watching Andy Williams sing to his wife and kids, and with his mom and dad there, and the corny 60s jokes, and everything's totally pre-recorded. They're lip syncing to it, but it's wholesome. It's just kind of it's what Christmas was to me growing up. Just a little bit of kitsch and a little bit of corny and a lot of nostalgia. That's one thing I always loved about Christmas, is it's that one time a year you really get to be nostalgic for what happened when you were growing up. You remember what color your jacket was, and your favorite pair of boots, and did you have a sled? First time you fell and hurt yourself skating, all sorts of goofy stuff like that. I love this stuff. But for my family, to yours, have a Merry Christmas, have a happy, healthy, safe New Year. Maybe we'll all make a little bit more money next year. Try to do that and buy more records. Absolutely. We will see you on the B-side.